Hiring your first employee too early can kill your startup faster than not hiring at all. Most founders get this wrong, not because of skill, but because of the stories they tell themselves and the lack of a clear playbook. So in this video, I'll show you the exact framework to build a business that doesn't need you and how to know when's the right moment to make your first hire. Listen, 90% of founders hire their first employee too early or too late. Hiring too early is like running a science experiment with too many variables. You won't know what's broken, your processes, the person you hired, or you yourself in terms of your business and how you run it. As Mecca Osanye points out in this first round review article, you don't need the full recipe, but you need most of the ingredients in the cupboard. Translation, you need to get your house in order before you bring someone in. And if you want to avoid mistakes like hiring too early, or if you're struggling to hire with confidence and want a playbook that you can trust, watch the masterclass in the description below. So let's get started. Here's the exact 3-step sequence you need to follow to avoid making your first hire an expensive mistake that steals your time, energy, and money. Step number 1, identify and overcome limiting beliefs that you might have. Most founders fail at hiring because of mindset, not because of money and not because of talent. So here's the 3 most common limiting beliefs that founders often have about hiring their first employee. Number 1, now's not the right time. Hint, it's never going to be the right time. The reality is, if you're drowning, waiting just compounds the pain. So if you hear yourself saying this, just know you might be kicking the can down the road. Number 2, no one can do it like me, or no one will do it as good as me. The reality is, systems and standards, when done right, can make others better than you at a task that you already do. And quite frankly, if you're running a business, there's some tasks you shouldn't be doing in the first place. And the last one is, I can't afford it. The reality is, staying stuck in $10 an hour tasks costs more than investing in help. So what that means is you can't afford not to. An example of a $10 an hour task are low leverage repetitive activities, things like scheduling, invoicing, or basic administrative and email work. They keep the business moving, but don't actually grow your business. $1,000 an hour tasks, on the other hand, are high leverage moves. Things like talking to customers, sales calls, improving your product or service, or designing a system that solves a repetitive problem in your business. These directly multiply your impact, your revenue, and the time that you can buy back to yourself. So if you're spending your time and your prime working hours on $10 an hour tasks, while $1,000 an hour tasks and opportunities pass you by, consider hiring some help. I coached a founder who delayed her first hire until hitting a revenue milestone, but by then she was burnt out and she couldn't even enjoy the milestone and the fruits of her labor. She needed leverage months earlier, which brings us to step number 2. Audit your time so that you can buy it back. Your first hire isn't about ego or optics, it's about leverage. Audit your calendar for at least 1 to 2 weeks and ask yourself, where could my first hire give me back 5, 10, maybe even 20 hours a week? Secondly, will it free me up to focus on sales, growth, developing my product or service, i.e. only the things that you can do as a founder, as an entrepreneur? And lastly, what do you need most that you currently can't provide? Often, your first hire shouldn't be a salesperson, it should be customer support. Often, it should be an administrative assistant that gives you more mental bandwidth so that you can make the key decisions that you need in order to grow. One founder I worked with resisted for months. When he finally hired his first chief of staff, shout out to Dennis, by the way, he instantly got 20 hours back a week and saw a 25% jump in his annual recurring revenue. Waiting cost him more than paying a salary to a key employee ever would. Which brings us to step number 3, balance your business. If Gordon Ramsay was your head chef and you were starting a restaurant, you wouldn't need to go out and hire another head chef, right? You would need someone to cover the rest of the kitchen, cover the operations. And that sounds obvious when I paint that picture, but founders often make this mistake all the time, trying to play every role, trying to wear every hat. And I get it. In the early stage, You need to, but it's not a sustainable path. Balancing your business is about doing an honest self-assessment and then asking, how might I buy back my time and add more balance to my team? Knowing your strengths and balancing those out. That's where the EOS accountability chart helps. EOS stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System, and it's a concept from Gino Wickman's best-selling book, Traction. It maps out core seats like the visionary, the integrator, sales, operations, finance, all those key factors, and then forces you to see where you're wearing all of these hats. Delegating the right seat to the right player at the right time is how you avoid the trap of just doing everything. So write down each core function, be honest about what your strengths are, circle your name in all these boxes, and then you'll visually see the imbalance. When you begin to thoughtfully hand off one box at a time, suddenly there's breathing room. And that's the power of balance. Now you have the exact 3-step sequence to avoid making your first hire a catastrophic and expensive mistake. Hiring your first employee isn't only about timing, it's about clarity. When you shift your limiting beliefs, buy back your time, and start to balance your team, you avoid the trap that kills most startups. So if you're ready to stop second guessing all this stuff and get a blueprint that you can trust, again, check out the masterclass in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.